Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Critical Podcast. My name is Jimmy Good, and I am but one of your hosts. And joining me, as always, is my go-to podcast compadre, Mr. Joe Lever. Joe, how's it going, pal? Joe, you there, pal? Joe, Joe, wake up. Joe, hello. Okay, wait. Oh my goodness, you know, we prep. Oh, there he is. Oh. Joe, you awake?
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy.
Why were you sleeping, Joe? You tuck it out after the critties? Is that what it is?
Yeah, darn after parties finally caught up with me. I've been going since last Tuesday.
You've been going to after parties since last Tuesday?
Yeah, they just kept going. One of them went for 2 days.
Oh, cool. That's actually quite impressive. Did you ever see any of our winners at any of the parties? Did you talk to anybody?
What? Why are you screaming?
I don't know. It's just the rich timbre of my voice.
No. But hey, coming off a good one, huh, pal?
Yeah, that was fun. We're all dressed up and all fancy like. Man, I think this might be the first time, one of the first times we've ever gone into a show promoting last week's show. This is good. This is a good cross-promotion, cross-pollination, and I like it. Yes, anyway, Joe, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you seem like you're getting well-rested. You're almost well-rested. You know?
The pleasure is all mine, good sir.
Well, good. Well, and I want to thank all of our Legionnaires for joining us once again. And if you are new to the show, we talk about movies, games, and TV shows, all the things we love so very much. But this week, instead of doing news, we're going to talk about the news that's going to be upcoming in the future. Yes, we're going to talk about our most anticipated games of 2018. Now, we've decided to pick 3 apiece, and we're going to kind of go off ones that are scheduled for 2018. And I'm going to put the big air quotes up because there's a good chance that some of these might get pushed back a little bit, maybe even into 2019. So, Joe, are you ready?
Looking at you, Game of Thrones. I'm just kidding.
Oh, apparently we're calling out Game of Thrones on that one, which makes sense because it's a game. It's okay, buddy. I'm sorry. Anyway, Joe, do you want to start us off with your first of 3? And this is in no particular order. I mean, you can talk about whatever one you want to start with here.
Let's do it this way. Since now my number one pick, and let me be clear, I'm kind of ranking these a little bit.
Oh, you're ranking them.
I'm ranking them a little bit. Like, which one am I most excited for?
Okay, fine. We'll do a countdown then. We'll do bronze, silver, then gold. That's totally fine.
All right. So starting with the bronze. And I feel like this had to be on my list, even though it's like right around the corner, because I haven't really gotten a taste of it thus far. I've only seen a little bit of gameplay here and there. But Monster Hunter World. We've talked about it. I don't think I need to delve into it too much. Open world, hunt down the roster of monsters with friends, online multiplayer type of deal, or online co-op, would you call it? What would you call it? Online co-op more so?
I'd say online co-op for the most part.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem like it's more of like players banding together to hunt things down, not as opposed to fighting each other directly.
It's not like you run into other online players randomly, right? You have to like join a lobby or something?
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't think it's like Destiny. And again, I am a novice towards this franchise. So don't, if this is untrue, then please feel free to correct me. But unlike Destiny, where you might see somebody just kind of doing their own thing, it seems like you'll be joining up and specifically tackling various quests as a group that you kind of predetermine, as opposed to kind of like running around and being like, hey, there's a guy over there. Like, hey, buddy, can you help me? Like, get over here, So, yeah, online co-op.
Yeah. Well, I'm in it for the art. I'm in it for the idea of awesome battles with pals. And the environments look sick. And the weaponry, I think, is going to be really cool. So, yeah, that's my I'm ranking them, but let's face it. I mean, they're all pretty much on an even playing field. They made my top 3 for a reason. But yeah, that's my first choice, my bronze medal.
That's a good pick. And I know we talked about this the other day, Joe, but it sounds like they're introducing like these like elder dragons that like you have to hunt multiple times, and they retain the damage that you gave them from previous hunts. So it's like you kind of have to go after them again and again with like a group potentially because they're like the strongest. That sounds pretty cool to me.
Not when I'm in there. One meeting, they're done.
meeting. Is that like MEAT? Or is it, Gotcha. No, I too am looking forward to that game. I know we've talked about it a bit. We talked about it a few weeks ago, but from what I played in the beta, and I really wish we could play the beta together, but I can't stress it enough. It is a lot of fun. It's even more fun with friends, and it seems to scale in difficulty with more people on there. So
that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Which I guess is a little weird, maybe, because you think like, if I hunt like the Anjanath, the T-Rex thing by myself, and then I hunt it with you, it's like the Anjanath's like, I've got double the health. It's like, okay, but it makes more sense because like if you could team up with up to 4 people in a group and just take that thing down, it kind of lessen the whole experience. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. And, not to even mention so many different weapon types and play styles for this game. It's like, regardless if you're kind of more like hack and slashy, if you want to shoot, you want to put some status elements, you want to heal your teammates, you want to buff them and stuff, you can do all that stuff, or you can just go up and smash it in the face. So, yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to it. And like I told you, before we started recording too, is I was saying like, I'm excited for this game, but it's like, it's only a couple weeks away. Like, I'm anticipating it, but it's it's going to be here.
On all consoles, Xbox and PS4?
Xbox One, yep, and PlayStation 4, and then I think eventually on PC. I don't quote me on this, but yeah. So the thing was, Joe, the beta was coming to PlayStation 4 because Sony struck a deal with them to get all that stuff on there instead of Xbox. So it's still coming to Xbox, but it's not promoted. It's not kind of like, hey, like this game is associated with this group as much. So that's okay. That's totally fine. I don't care wherever you're playing, man. That's where I want to play. I want to team up. It'll be great. We'll get Drew in there. Maybe get Levi in there. We'll fight together. It'll be great. It'll be so
I'm down.
Plus, I think it's going to be kind of a long game and kind of, doing, quests again and again, getting different items from different monsters. And like this time we're breaking the tail off because we need whatever specific item or element is in that for this weapon or this armor or whatever. Like, I'm hoping that the progression is there too.
Always the head. You just chop the head off.
I don't think that's an option. I don't think it is. Maybe. I don't know.
Come on. This isn't rated M for blood and gore.
I don't know if it's rated M. That's a good question. I don't think so. It's not like Monster Hunter, not rated M for monster. Well, it's not like you're like covering the entire plains in blood, because it would be like if they added that to the game, like there'd be just like it'd be coated, like the whole world would be just blood everywhere. But yeah, also and the last thing I want to mention about this, just 2 fights never being the same. I love that too. Is like every time you go off and fight, like another monster might join the fight, or you might have another variant in there that makes
that's cool. More. I like that, a little unpredictable and more, just kind of shoot from the hip, fly by the seat of your pants, kind of a thing.
Yep, so good. I'm excited. I'm excited to see you try out some weapons. Are there any like from the get go that you're like, I want to try the hammer, or I want to try that lance, or like I want to try the bow gun? Is there any of them that like stand out to you?
The hammer for sure, probably number 1, and then the bow gun. I see all the different ammunition and stuff you can use, and it just looks kind of neat. So the only thing I don't like about it is it's very slow.
Well, it depends on which one you use. It sounds like the heavier ones, they are a bit more slow, but you can kind of pack more of a wallop. There's one that's a little bit lighter. There's like a light bow gun, so you can kind of run around with that one and do a little bit more of the gunning. But I think that's more of like kind of inflicting status ailments like poison and like trying to paralyze it.
So when we say bow gun, is it like a mechanical weapon, and it's kind of like think of Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, kind of like that.
It's like a crossbow auto fire.
No, it's in the shape of a bow, but it has like a tube out the front of it, and it's got a kind of like the mechanism of like a gun, so you kind of hold it. Remember like the torque bow, Joe, kind of in Gears of War?
Yeah.
Kind of like that, but you shoot at a faster rate typically.
Okay.
So yeah. It fits. I know it's a little weird to have like that, and then you have some dude who's using like an axe, but like all the weapons for the most part can kind of like, a lot of them can switch. I shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them can. So it's like it kind of fits in the theme and stuff, and some of them are a little more medieval and some of them are a little more futuristic, but it all plays well together. It meshes, it congeals in a good way. So yeah. All right, cool. Hammer. Oh man,
it's on my list.
I could see with that hammer, man, stunning monsters. They're just like, my face.
Thor, can you eat my heart? Or eat my heart? Eat your heart out, Thor.
Eat your heart out. Eat your heart out, Thor. This one's for you. All right. Good pick. That's a really good pick. I feel like you still like walking into today. I knew that was going to be one of the ones that you're talking about. So I'm like, I can't talk about that one. So I'm just gonna...
Yeah.
So
I haven't gotten a taste yet, Jimmy.
I know you need a taste. You need a taste.
So allow me to lead you into your picks, Jimmy. What do you got looking forward to for 2018? Huh?
Okay, so now that we're ranking them, it's like in my brain, I'm like, okay, I have to like play the game now.
Ooh.
So
and you can't. They're all a tie.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay.
For my third pick, I'm going to talk about Darksiders 3. Now, Darksiders 3, I think on the surface for a lot of people isn't something that's like, wow, this is insane. It's just like for diehards of the franchise, such as myself, it's just cool that we get to play in this world again. It's a third-person action title. It's probably going to be relatively linear with some kind of open-world spaces. It looks gorgeous, and this is the first time we're getting Darksiders, like a brand new Darksiders, on this current generation of consoles. So if like Darksiders would have started here, you know, on this generation, we might be seeing something pretty different. So it's kind of like, in a weird way, they're not like rebooting the franchise. It's the next step for them, but they're not like going like, hey, we're going even more open world, like Breath of the Wild style or something, which is like my dream, to play in a world like that with death and just flying around and climbing every mountain.
That'd be pretty crazy.
Goodness, I if I can climb a mountain one day with death and not have to do like a defined path, I'll be like, I'll just be like crying as it happens. I'm like, climb it, buddy. I don't know why I want to climb mountains. I just do now with every character. Anyway, the game looks really good. It's cool to see a new horseman. And it's Fury was one of those ones that was always the most underdeveloped, potentially. You know, her and Strife were ones that you see in the comics. They didn't ever really show up in any of the games. And there wasn't really a lot to her. Strife's kind of mysterious as well, but seeing her, the redesign of her, she looks really cool. Her hair looks wonderful. And I'm just excited to play it. Now, again, it's probably going to be like just a straightforward kind of game. There's probably going to be things where you can go off and do other things, but it's going to be, I would imagine, a pretty linear narrative, which that's totally fine. My only concern with this game, even though it's one of my most anticipated, is that the combat seems to have kind of stepped back a little bit in pace and execution, or just kind of the speed of it all. Because if you go from Darksiders 1 up to Darksiders 2, you go from War, who's kind of more chunky and burly and kind of, you know, he takes and dishes out big hits. He can move around a little bit, kind of dashes, but not as much as his brother Death, who in the second game is like, guy teleports around, he's like flipping, he's doing these huge backflips, doing all this crazy stuff. And now with Fury, she can kind of do like these cartwheels, but the camera's zoomed way in, so it seems like it's going to be an emphasis on maybe 2 to 3 enemies as opposed to like 10 or 20, which Darksiders 2 would get into. It'd be like, hey, there's 20 skeletons on screen, good luck. And you're like, all right. And then you just teleport and explosions would happen. It was great. But yeah, I'm still excited because I love Darksiders. I'm so happy that it's getting made. And, you know, getting to talk to some of the developers back at PAX was really fun. I wish I could have talked to them more about it. But my dream game is still like all 4 horsemen, 4-player co-op, fighting all the demons, all the angels, wiping the slate clean. So I'm just like hoping that this is the next step in that. So they'll do the Fury one, Joe. They'll do Strife will be the one after that. And then we'll do the 4-player, maybe pick which one, or 4-player co-op. That's the dream. But Darksiders.
What are you going to do when I fight over Death?
You're not. You're a War guy, man. You're War guy through it. If you want to play Death, man, you play Death. I'll play War. That's fine. I love Death so much, but I love you more. Wow,
big man.
Which is a weird sentence you think you're gonna say to your best friend is like, I love Death, but I love you, boy. I'd love to say that out in public. People were like,
yeah, I had to kind of think about that for a second. Wow.
People are like, what? Yeah, Joe, are you excited about Darksiders 3 in any way? I mean, besides that, I'm just like, yes, the Darksiders. Like, you know, are you kind of like, eh?
I mean, I know there's credibility there. I know it's a good franchise, and I've seen you play it. That's kind of how we met. I saw you playing that back in school at college, believe it or not. Oh, yeah, if you didn't know, Jimmy and I went to college together. That's how I met him.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I was his RA, basically like, what do you want to call it, Jimmy? I was basically his boss at one point. No, I'm just kidding.
I guess if you want, we're talking about like a negligent boss that you never see. I guess this would be perfect. Yes, you were.
Oh, ouch! I was bad at my job. No,
you're good. You're fine.
Yeah, that's how I was doing rounds, meeting everybody on the floors, and then came along Jimmy, and I said, "Hey, what you playing there?"
I think this
Or
was
was that a
after.
later time?
I
Okay.
think it was after our initial meeting, but like pretty close after. Do you remember if it was the first? I think it was Darksiders 1 because I remember playing through that one again in college, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna play through this.
It might have been the second time we met. So after we had our initial, hi, how are you? Your name's what? My name's yada yada yada. Yada. What kind of things you up to? Yeah, okay, all right, cool. Yeah, it was the next time I think. But either way, always stands out in my mind, and it did look like a cool, fun game for sure. And I do appreciate the design characteristics.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of comic book inspired. Like I said, I'm trying to remember if it was 1 or 2. I'm sure you saw me play 1 then, because it was probably War. Guy with he's all in red with the big sword. That might have been him, or it could have been Death. I don't remember. But yeah, I think you would like those games. I know that you're more of like a co-op guy, and that's why like my dream. It'd be like Monster Hunter-esque, 4-player.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it'd be neat.
plus, it'd be like a tale of biblical proportions, like everybody charging on their horses. So I'm hoping we get to see a little more of that because I don't know if we've seen Fury's horse yet. I'm not sure. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't been watching everything that's been coming out too because like a movie, like you get me at that first trailer and I'm like sold. Like I don't need to see like Kingdom Hearts is the same way. I'm like I don't need to see
spoil anything more.
Yeah, because it's like, especially if you're playing a game, like I would love to go into a place for the first time and be like, wow, this is crazy. I didn't know it was going to be in this game, as opposed to like, oh yeah, when is the fire level coming up? Because there's a cinematic here where she's about to die, but I'm like, well, the fire level's coming up, so it's going to be fine.
Yeah, experience it fresh for the first time. Don't spoil it for yourself.
Fresh, baby. I need it fresh. But yeah, I'm excited about Darksiders 3, and I'm just excited to dig into that game because obviously I'm a big fan of the franchise. The nice thing about it is, unlike other trilogies, there's not like the craziest amount of lore to be digested with Darksiders. There's like a book, 2 games, some comics here and there. It's not like so deep that you couldn't walk into Darksiders 3 that you'd be like, what's happening? Like you could easily get in. This is probably a good entry point for a lot of people, I think.
I'm sure you could. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and that's why it takes my number 3 spot. All right, Joe, let's get into that shiny silver. Silver, by the way, is my favorite of the 3 colors. It's so good. So good.
Yeah, silver's a good color. Platinum's even better. Yeah.
That's true.
All right, so getting to my silver position. This one is, I feel like it's a big deal. First of all, I'm a fan of Westerns. Like, I can watch a good Western any day.
Wind at your back?
With the wind at my back. On a good day with the wind at my back, I could watch a Western on any day.
I'm picturing you're like outside, like on a fence, and like there's a flat screen on the side of like a barn with like a lean-to that's covering it, and you're just like sitting there watching, like the wind is right at your back. Like, yep, this is perfect. This is good.
All I need is a cold brewski and I'm good. I appreciate a good Western or a Western vibe, and I'm also a big fan of Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar Games. I think they got it going on, and I like the way that they support their games. So, needless to say, Red Dead Redemption 2, high on the list. It makes my number 2 spot for my most anticipated 3 of 2018. We don't quite know when we'll see it. We're talking like early second quarter of 2018, so maybe April, May.
They said spring 2018, but I think that's kind of what a lot of people were like. Yeah, April, May time, probably.
Cross our fingers, shall we? I think it could be a lot of fun. It's not going to be as Grand Theft Auto-y because let's face it, with Grand Theft Auto 5, it's modern day, so your options are kind of limitless, and they can kind of bolster things with the use of technology and certain things of that nature. The transportation's a lot faster, right? I don't know. Here I think it's going to be a lot more gritty and just grounded, and I think it can be really fun, or will be really fun. Not to mention, kind of you put yourself in that role-playing position of the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Like if I had to go back in time, I had no choice. I could go forward, and I had to go back. And no, I can't go back to like the 80s. Like we're talking like 1920 back.
Oh.
I'm going back to the Wild Wild West, baby.
I feel like we romanticize it though, because like you get there and they'd be like, "So, where is the shower?"
Whatever.
You're like, I don't care about that. Yeah, man. Obviously, I'm excited too. Because there's hopefully going to be a bigger emphasis on playing with your friends because Grand Theft Auto Online has done so well and kind of given Grand Theft Auto 5 even more legs. And I'm hoping that some of the campaign we can do together as well. It seems like it's going to be gang oriented.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yep. And they've done a good job. I wonder if part of their scheme here is that they're using Grand Theft Auto 5 as a bit of a test. Because if you notice recently, the big emphasis in Grand Theft Auto 5 are these is the motorcycle club or the gang, and you're either running drugs, weapons, stuff like that. So I wonder if they're going to kind of use that as like a beta, so to speak, of how they want to build Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, okay, so we form a gang. You can join a outlaw gang and you rob banks, and here's your hideout in the mountains, yada yada. I think that could be really cool, and I think they can take what they learned there and apply it here, maybe even better upon that. So first goal, number one goal, I gotta get my 30-30 lever action.
Yep. I'm right there with you. I'm excited like that. I'm right there. Like, I really hope, and I don't think they'll do this, but I'd love it if they put more of an emphasis on roles. So it's like, hey, you want your 30-30, but I'm actually going to take, I'm going to be a sniper. I'm going to get, the sniper rifle, and I'm going to, if they had, not necessarily skill trees. I don't know how they would do this, with a point system, but it'd be cool to, emphasize, roles. And it's like, hey, if you want, you can be the guy who's, dual-wielding Colts, and it's, going around just going, like that kind of thing, drawing all the aggro while your guy in the back.
So what do you think's going to happen? You're going up against guys, or you run into other online players, shoot their horse?
So yeah, there might be some of that. I'm sure they'll do it the same way. So they'll have a campaign, and then they'll have the online be separate. And then if you want to be in the online, you could do a passive mode. So just the horse, if someone tries to run you over the horse, it'll just go through you. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Yeah, they got to do that.
Or they kill your horse and they lose money and pay for the redemption costs, so you get the horse back in your stable or something.
Do you think they'll do
then how do you get back to your stable? Do you have to walk the whole way there, or do you have to find a wild horse to ride?
They'll do fast travel, I'm sure, right? They'll do it.
Is that going to be what? Maybe that's what it'll be.
They should. They did fast travel, I think, of the old game too. So it's I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I would love it if at your hideout for a gang, you walk in and it was doing a cool zoom on your cot, and you're oh, I got a new blanket for my cot, and you're so check it out, it's nice, dude, it's real nice. You're oh my god, look at that stool, dude. And you're yeah, man, I had to do a couple of jobs for that. It's totally worth it. I could sit there and whittle, man. Freaking love whittling. Just whittle away.
I can tell every minute of playing that game, Jimmy's gonna have a funny joke.
Oh, for sure.
Be just like that.
I'll be oh man, check out the rocks around my campfire. Oh my god, man, it's just pimped out. Look at these rocks, man. I had to
fight a grizzly bear for the big one in the back.
Yeah, well, bottom of the Colorado River for most of them, but it was worth it. I mean, look at it. I mean, look at it. You know what I'm look at that. Yeah, I'm interested to see though, because we've talked about this in the past. That Grand Theft Auto has done a good job of kind of keeping players invested by releasing all these crazy, insane updates up to flying cars. Unfortunately, you're kind of limited. So hopefully, instead of being a limiting factor, it'll just make them more creative, and they'll be oh, what could we do for this? Because I'm sure. I just really won't be surprised if we see an Undead Nightmare return where they kind of focus on zombies or certain events or certain modes where they've got the zombies coming back and stuff like that. So
yeah. and or give it a little, just hopefully it gets that intimate flair.
Yeah, intimate.
So, and I don't know exactly how to explain that, but maybe there's more. The AI is maybe a little more. What's the word? Detailed. Maybe there's a little something more to each person you encounter in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
Not everybody, but maybe some select few or certain areas you go to. There's a few. That could be neat, but I don't know. Just hoping for a little creativity, and I hope there's enough there to entertain you for a good amount of time.
Sure. Maybe they'll pick up some cues from Westworld, and I'm gonna bet right now they're gonna do a joking thing for a bit. There'll be an event where all the AI in the game turns on you, even the good guys. They all just pull guns on you, and they're 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 trying to kill you. And like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That would be cool if somehow they incorporated a Westworld storyline of some sort. That would be trippy.
There'll be an Easter egg, man. They love their Easter eggs. They'll do it. They got to do it. They'll be like, oh, the maze. Have you ever seen the maze? And be like, oh, no. Yeah, man. Okay, Red Dead Redemption 2. Again, like Monster Hunter World before it, I'm right there with you, man. Obviously, what I'm excited about. I just hope we get some information about it soon. Because it's supposed to be out spring 2018. Well, as of this recording, it's winter 2018. So it's like, it's coming up. If it was like fall 2018, it's like, hey, it's October. I'd be like, okay, cool. That's fine. Just tell me at E3. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Let's just keep crossing our fingers. That's a big one on my list. Big one.
Nice. Well, speaking of silver, Joe, I love silver. This next one that comes up here is a franchise that I've known for a long time and is actually quite a following over in Japan. It's starting to get one more here in the West, which is really, really cool. But it's Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI came out last year in Japan, last summer, I believe. We're still waiting for a Western release. They said they were going to localize it and bring it here, so I'm just really excited about it. They said 2018. They're hoping 2018. So, as January approaches, people are like, oh, is it really still going to be that? So I just can't wait because it looks like it's kind of a follow-up in a lot of ways to Dragon Quest VIII, which is one of the coolest games on PlayStation 2. I actually played that I don't know if it was like a year and a half ago or so, but it's just this really, really wonderful art style. Akira Toriyama, I believe, the guy who's done like Dragon Ball and stuff like that. Some people aren't really into that, and I completely understand that. But it is kind of like a quintessential JRPG in that it's got some sadness in it, but it's usually jolly. It's usually kind of fun, vibrant colors. Just makes you want to go on this big, grand, sweeping journey. Whereas Final Fantasy can kind of be different every time. Dragon Quest usually has a lot of through lines as far as like the enemies and the location similarities and things like that. And turnstile-based combat is something that Persona 5 proved that this year could still be relevant. And Battle Chasers, Night War, has also done too. So I still love the turnstile-based combat. Yes, it makes the games a lot longer, but because this game is a little bit newer, and ever since Dragon Quest VIII did some remasters and stuff, there aren't random encounters anymore, which is really good because when I played Dragon Quest VIII, it was like the old school style. You take 5 steps, you get in a fight, and you're like, I was just walking, in a barren wasteland and something just popped up. So this way you can kind of pick and choose your battles a little bit more, and seeing these cool monsters, these iconic monsters, walking around this world and being like, hey, cool, there's a Gigantus or whatever. Like, yeah, cool. Like, I want to go fight that thing. So yeah, I'm excited about it. And, any game whereas I, like, in my party can play as an old man who's got like Wolverine style claws. I mean, I'm there. Like I want to play that game. I want to play it. So yeah, I'm excited for Dragon Quest. It's going to be a long game, I'd imagine, but I really can't wait to play it. I'm so excited. It's going to be good. And it looks gorgeous. Like if you guys haven't checked out a video of this, please do. It's like the environments themselves look just absolutely stunning. Just really, really, really good. It's kind of like this interesting middle ground between like Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. It's like, it looks like the colorful, cartoony nature of Breath of the Wild, but like attention to detail and just like the gorgeousness of Horizon. So it's like right in between there, which is like a really good sweet spot for me. I'm like,
yeah, like seeing the grass move in the wind.
Yeah, it's just, and like the water and just like it never has a Dragon Quest, at least to me, been this detailed in its environments. And that's so cool because, I played Dragon Quest Builders and that's on PlayStation 4 and that's great, but it's more Minecrafty. It's cute and it's adorable and it looks wonderful, but it's not to this level. And seeing this finally on this generation of consoles just, it makes my heart swoon. I love it so much. Yeah, and I know this probably isn't really your style of game, Joe, but maybe you can appreciate it from maybe an aesthetic standpoint, or maybe just kind of like the monsters are a little kookier. They're not like your cool, like, creepy Venoms and, Xenomorphs or whatever. But, they're a group that I've grown up with, and the sound effects, which they use for like all the games, that's just using your assets, which is totally fine. The music's great. It's just gonna be really fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. So, Joe, you got any questions?
I don't doubt it, pal. No, I was watching a little bit of the YouTube video that you had sent me a while back, and I just noticed the environment was really well done. It's colorful. It looks kind of jolly. Jolly.
That's the perfect word to use for this, because a lot of JRPGs aren't jolly because there's a lot of that in there, but this one just like exudes it from just the look of it. And this is without even the localization with like the the text and stuff. And I'm not sure if they're doing voice acting or not. But Dragon Quest VIII was actually pretty good with its English voice acting, so I'm not gonna write it off. But just kind of a quintessential if you wanted to get into these Japanese role playing games, and you're like, man, I don't know which franchise is good. Like Final Fantasy seems so intense, and some of them seem really dark and too like brooding. Like this one's like, come on in. It's like a hot tub. It's like just take your time. Just kind of get into it. It's gonna be jolly. Have some fun. Hang out with some slimes.
Lukewarm. It's perfect. You'll love it.
It's not lukewarm. It's boiling with friendship. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it comes out this summer. And we'll talk about Red Dead later. But I hope Red Dead doesn't get pushed to the summer because I'll be like, and hopefully. They won't do the same thing that Atlas did with Persona 5, and they'll let me stream it because I want to stream this game for people and not have a part-time job of playing this game at night for a review. Or I'm like, oh, I got to put in like 2 hours. Like woohoo! Yeah, I'm just excited about it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be one of those quintessential JRPGs. So yeah, that's my silver place, my second up. So all right, Joe, hit me some of that gold, baby.
All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars.
Break the mold.
Wow. Jimmy, if I said welcome to the jungle.
We got fun and games. We got everything you want. We know that.
All right. All right. So my gold, my A-lister, my number one for 2018. And this is why Jimmy really, prefaced the sentiment that these are anticipated 2018 games. They are scheduled for 2018. We are not absolutely certain. Who knows? But 2018, this is the one I'm most nervous about. The one I'm most nervous about of all of them, just because I'm excited for it. I watched a little bit of the gameplay on it, and Anthem. Holy man. It looks sick. It reminds me a little bit of Crisis, right?
Yeah, dude. What a good call, man. Yeah. What a good, like a third-person Crisis. Oh, yeah. Crisis. Yeah, man.
Crisis was cool. Like, it's such a good, like, foundation. It just needed a little something more, and I wasn't quite struck by it enough. But when it comes to this game, this Anthem game looks absolutely... First off, the environment looks sexy.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you mix that up with some sort of sexy iron suit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And awesome weapons and flying and swimming and missile explosions and all of it. Need I say more? I don't know. It just looks amazing. Think about Crisis a little bit. Just think only a little sexier and maybe a little bit more militaristic.
Yeah, sure.
Militaristic emphasis, like you and a couple of other soldiers suit up and go tackle tasks together. Kind of, it's kind of what open world ish. I don't exactly know how the game functions or what your goals are and that sort of thing, but man, it looks awesome. And the different features that each class has, I think it's class based for the most part. They have different suit styles. And
which is like that is such a cool way to do that, because like in a lot of games where you're like, yeah, I have this one class, and then if you can respec, you're like, how did my person just decide to not wield a sword anymore and use magic? It's like, well, this one I jumped out of this suit that had this capability, I hopped into this one that has these other capabilities, which are just like yours now. It's like, oh, cool. That's cool.
I mean, it's really cool. I forget what the classes are. They say them in that little teaser gameplay, but it's almost kind of like Destiny-esque. You have your warlock, your titan, and your hunter, but obviously this is way cooler. It just has a cool vibe to it. It looks awesome. I love some of the features that they showed off, like the multi-targeting system where the freaking missiles shoot out and just, or like the flanking tactics that they show off. Like you go high, I'll come from low under the waterfall, and she's like swimming underneath propulsion style. And oh, dude. What are your thoughts, Jerry? I know this one's kind of on your honorable mentions.
Oh, for sure. The thing about like a new IP like this is if it can really stir your imagination, which this one does, because all I'm thinking is like, can I play this game as if I were like a Kryptonian, like Zod kind of fights and some of those other Kryptonians in Man of Steel, where it's like you're just like punching, but you're like flying or like you know, like punching like really fast. I was like, that'd be so cool. Like, or have a sword or something, like go running up, very cinematic, like.
And it's third person. Something about that appeals to me here too. I almost like the fact that I'll be able to like see my suit in action and stuff.
Dude, yes, third person. Like I know you love your first person shooters, Joe, but there's something like over the years, third person has become like it's just more of a movie to me. It's more of a movie, more that cinematic flair, and you're like, man, I'm like playing.
The detail of controlling the actual character is a little more substantial than just seeing the screen from the hands out, you know. And why customize your suit and everything and love the way it looks if you don't get to look at it all the time?
See, that's when you're talking about Destiny 2 like that. I was kind of like, yeah, you look cool, but you don't get to see it. Now it's like there's much more of an emphasis. I'm sure more games will do this where it's like, yeah, I'm going to get all this cool loot and I'm going to see myself in that. Not just when I'm dancing. It's just like, hey, like I can see it all the time. I've got a cool new cape. I always see the cape, you know, like.
Yeah. And I forget how I mentioned that multi-targeting missile system thing and launches out all these small missiles at once to, barrage a bunch of targets. I forget how that worked. Is it like cut the first person for that targeting view, or
they pulled up like a kind of a visor thing, but it was still like the third. I think it came like zoomed in a little more over their shoulder, and they kind of like zoomed in on them a little bit too, and then kind of like painted them with lasers.
See, that's cool. That's where third person, if you have all these different features and combat styles or weaponry, you need to be creative with that and get it right. So that sounds like they took a good approach to it. I couldn't recall that, but I just got to thinking about it.
Well, it's the closest thing to like a good, like a strong Iron Man game we're going to get, because we've had a few in the past. They're just not to this level. Like, if Disney were to come out or some other game group came out and Disney was like, hey, you can finally, because they're working on those Avengers games. But if they made an Iron Man game where you like looked like this, like, like, whew, it'd be good. As excited as I am for this, it's kind of like reverse Destiny, because you go back to the hub and I think that's first person. They might change that, which I kind of wish they would. Like, I don't, it was so weird to see the first person that it's like, you get in the suit and you're like, oh, now it's, I guess my vision's better. But I'm kind of nervous that I just don't want them to overburden it with microtransactions. Like, that's my biggest concern. As long as it's cosmetic, like, I get it. Like, see, in that game, I'd rather spend more money. Like, you spent money in Destiny. Like, if you spent money now and you could actually see this stuff, like, all the time.
It makes it all that more substantial and worthwhile. I'd really like that. But we'll just have to see. I just hope that it doesn't get drug out or pushed back a little bit, the release. I'm a little nervous of that. But, man, probably it is. It's my gold for a reason. It's my most anticipated of 2018. It is gorgeous and sexy, just appealing stuff to the gills. I love it. Yeah. It kind of struck every chord with me. I was like, man,
I just hope
it looks like fun.
I hope it controls really well. Like, I hope it just feels good, because
I hope so too. Yeah.
That's going to be a big like thing, and I'm really hoping.
Third person, that's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hopeful that the team who's working on this. I think that's one of the reasons Mass Effect Andromeda suffered, is because a lot of the group who would have worked on that at BioWare was working on Anthem, and I think that's one of the reasons why that one didn't do as well. So I'm hoping that this is like kind of like, hey, sorry guys, that one didn't turn out, but like here's this new intellectual property, and this is where we're putting our chips. And if they have to push it back to 2019, so be it. But I hope it doesn't get pushed. It's probably maybe one of the better ones on this list that could get pushed back, like one of the ones that's kind of up for it a little bit more, because we're like, we've been waiting. Like, all right, you showed it last E3, like, give us an update. So yeah, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that like you said, the classes and stuff, I hope it's not like with Destiny where it's like your class is different than mine, but only with like the grenade and like a super ability. I hope they really kind of dive a little bit more into that Monster Hunter style. And goodness gracious, if they make like a melee class, like that is how cool. Just like flying around, just bunching things or slicing them down. That might be, oh boy, that might be really addicting. And plus we got to see other things that they fight, because the things they blow up are kind of small, but it looks like the world's got bigger monsters and other things to fight, And we're not even, we barely, you mentioned it, but flying, man, flying with your friends. Like, you don't get to do that in a lot of games like that, like to fly around with your buddies. Like,
And is
That's
it
so cool.
powerful, like to where you can fly forever, like Iron Man style, or is it just like short bursts?
I don't know, because it seemed like in the demo that they were going for a substantial amount of time, and then they chose to kind of land. But I'm sure at certain points they kind of have to force you down, because I would think like if there was like a linear path for a certain event or something, you'd just be like, well, I'm just gonna zip over it, you know. So
Yeah, I
I don't know
wonder
if
if
they'll
they're
do
gonna
it.
restrict that at all.
Yeah. Also, it'd be cool if like some classes could like hover, because it seems like there was that one like kind of warlock one that was hovering. But if there's like somebody who's like, yeah, I hover in the air and I kind of snipe at people, or something like
Uh,
that. We always dreamed about that for Titanfall. They had like a person, and then they made that one Titan who could like fly. It's like I'm flying up here and I'm just shooting stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for that one, man. Oh boy, flying around with you boys will be a lot of fun. I just want to know more about it, because I just like study that video and I'm like,
yeah,
hmm.
yeah. All I know is it's really pretty.
Well, hopefully there's substance, behind it too.
Yeah. Oh, I think there will be. It seems to be so.
Well, it seems like it's loot driven as well, so hopefully a lot of that stuff you won't feel like I hope you don't have to do microtransactions to buy power in the game. Like I said, I hope it's cosmetic, and hopefully the loot in the game is at a good substantial rate, because I felt like in Destiny we weren't ever really hurting for drops unless you went like really into the late game and stuff like that, where it was kind of like grinding for exotics. Like hopefully we don't have to do that. But if the combat's fun, that's another thing too. We've only gotten a little taste of it. It wasn't like it was a back and forth. It was like, hey, kill those guys. And you're like, roger that. It wasn't like, hey, I fight at them or I shoot at them, they fight it back. It's just like, I'm just gonna blow them up. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Those exotics, man. I needed more of them.
I know you did. I know you love them so much. That's why they spent so much time on how those guns look jokes. You're staring at it the whole time. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for Anthem as well. Good pick, Joe. Good pick.
Thank you, sir. So, Jimmy, time for you to lay it on us. What is your number one golden pick of 2018 most anticipated?
All right, Joe. What if I were to say to you, when you walk away, you don't hear me say, please, oh baby, don't go. It's Kingdom Hearts 3, everybody. If you didn't know what that was.
It was just like,
Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. Sorry. Okay. You guys know I love Disney. I absolutely do. And I do love Final Fantasy. Not as much as Disney, but I do. So when they came out with Kingdom Hearts way back in the day on PlayStation 2, I was like, what the heck is this? Like, what is this craziness? It's insanity. But guess what? It's beautiful. It's that chocolate meets peanut butter, baby. It's that Reese's peanut butter cup. It's so good. The first one, crazy and weird. The second one, also crazy and weird. Every one of these other ones, just so strange. And the storyline's so convoluted. Doesn't make a lot of sense. That's okay. Because guess what? I'm not coming for the story, even though I kind of know it now. Every time I feel like I've got a good grasp on it, though, I feel like it slips between my fingers. They introduce a new element or character, and I'm like, who's that guy? And they're like, well, it was this guy, but then he transformed into this guy. And I'm like, I can't just be like, this is Frank. Frank has always been Frank. He'll always be Frank. Anyway, I have a long and leveling history with this franchise, and because they've never made the third game, they've made like 8 spin-offs and prequels and all this stuff. Finally getting some closure on a trilogy that we've been waiting for, the end of this story. It's like, thank you. Like, we've been fighting the same guy who's been behind the scenes for so long, and finally we're gonna get to actually face him, I think, because they haven't released like a numbered one since 2, which was years ago. So I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. I like the characters. The vibe of it, if you're talking about like kind of from the little I've seen, looks a lot like that kind of vibrant art style, that colorful, kind of engrossing style that you kind of see in Dragon Quest a little bit. Obviously, it's not the same animation or anything, but just looks really good, and the fighting is insane and chaotic. I'm not sure how I feel about the summons being changed. You used to be able to summon like Simba or like Tinkerbell or Mushu to help you out, which is really cool. But now it's like you're summoning Disney rides, which I love Disney. I just feel like the cross promotion is like it's reaching like a fever pitch. It's like you summon like Big Thunder Mountain to fight like the Earth Titan in Hercules. I'm like, what? I'm like, huh? It's fine if they can.
How does it work? How does that work?
I know. You know what? That's my Kingdom Hearts show. They don't have to say how it works. They'll just be like, "Oh, you have a new power, Sora. You can do this." So
Don't ask questions. It says
yeah.
right on the back of the game you buy. It says, don't ask questions.
I would absolutely. It just says that on the back, and there's nothing else. It's just like a black. Just don't ask questions. You're like, oh,
like no little description or summary. Just don't ask questions.
yep. Oh, I would love that.
Exclamation point.
Going through Dream Drop Distance and like 2.8 and stuff, Final Chapter Prologue, which is just such a mouthful. It got me really excited about it because there's kind of a demo leading up, like a prequel into 3. And if it's anything like that, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a game that's visually stunning, like really, truly gorgeous, and that handles pretty well too. And these are characters I've come to care about over so many years. So it'd be nice to get, hopefully, a fitting conclusion to this. I don't think it'll all be done forever, but I would like to think that we're reaching some sort of, climax, kind of conclusion to some of these characters, so it can just be a new thing. Because you kind of you take some of these games and you make 1 and 2, and then you wait to make the third one for so long, and you just kind of build up the fan expectations so much. It's like no matter what they put out, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it wasn't as good as I wanted." I'm just glad it exists. It's like Final Fantasy 15. I'm glad it finally came out. So I'm really hopeful for it. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to play it. I hope it's going to be in 2018. Talking about Red Dead Redemption, or I should say Anthem, all these games I feel like are going to get pushed back, like especially Kingdom Hearts, because it's one of those games where it's like, we're all like, oh, it's going to come out. And they're like, we're going to push it back. And it's like, please just release it. I can't take it. I can't. You got to stop showing me demos. They're like, we're going to show you a demo from every part of the game, because why be surprised? Why would you want to be surprised when you play this game? You want to know what's coming up, don't you? So, yeah. Kingdom Hearts. Joe, you got any thoughts on Kingdom Hearts? You love Mickey with a keyblade jumping around like a black cloak. He's cutting the darkness down. He just cuts it.
Yeah, I don't understand Kingdom Hearts, so it's like kind of very abstract things like that.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, take all those characters from both things, like Disney and Final Fantasy, smash them together, and then like add a bunch of weird enemy types to fight them.
Weird. So why does Final Fantasy get mixed in with them?
That's an excellent question. I think it's because Square Enix is making, or is like they're like the big Final Fantasy folks. I don't know who made this pitch in the first place. I don't know the backstory about it, but
sure. Disney's just like, hey, you guys want a little character variety?
And I think this game would probably, like, it's loved and beloved because it has both. I think if you had to go back, because the main character looks more like a Final Fantasy style character, it would probably be easier to just be like, hey, we have them and all the Final Fantasy stuff, but we don't have the Disney stuff, as opposed to taking this character and being like, you're all Disney stuff, no Final Fantasy stuff. You'd be like, why is this one humanoid person here, like, with all these other weird, like, anthropomorphic creatures? Like, yeah. Humanoid human. That makes sense. But yeah, it works. It works, and not a lot of franchises do this. We're talking about collaborations, Joe. We talk about Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Think of like that, but like a long time ago, and 2 like way bigger franchises in a sense. I mean, Mario's huge, but like Final Fantasy and Disney is like, and the chance that like Star Wars and Marvel might get implemented in here, I'm kind of nervous about, because they've done like Pirates in the past, but it's so weird because you're like, I'm with Donald and Goofy, and then you're like in the Pirates of the Caribbean film, and you're like, what? Why this?
Yeah, but if you go to the park, they're walking around next to each other. No, I know they're separated. They have their own zones.
They do, and it's much better than from what I've seen at Universal. All right, that one, they don't even care. Universal, they just pop them down wherever. Disney's got this nice, it bleeds into the next one. Yeah. Sorry, this is.
I even kind of remember that as a child.
Joe, I love to think just child, like Disney or Universal.
Disney.
Okay, I was thinking like you at Universal as a kid. You're like, yeah, this could blend together a little bit better. It doesn't seem like they.
The transitions are jarring.
The transitions are so good in Disney that they'll take the music and it'll be like similar music, but then they'll slowly change it into the new version. Because they're going from like Adventureland to Frontierland. I think that they like kind of bleed together. Yep. So Kingdom Hearts, Joe, you're gonna be there day one. I know you love Sora and Riku and Kairi. All these people you've never heard of.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not knocking it whatsoever. I mean, it's a cool thing. I mean, in Disney, I mean, that's neat. Final Fantasy was never not my cup of tea, not my artistic cup of tea either. I mean, you can kind of tell based on the things I pick out game-wise and whatnot and the things I play. I'm a little more. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm like the stereotypical bro, and somebody should smack me. But
No, I push back on this. If you played Final Fantasy 15, I think that'd be your style. It's a little more realistic. The car looks really nice. There's a lot of car stuff, Joe. Big monsters.
oh, and another thing, if you notice, I don't play a single game that isn't multiplayer.
I know that's why you're gonna try out this Game Pass thing because I want you to try some single player games and be like, oh man, this is good. Like, and I can talk to you while you do it.
Sure it is, but I use gaming as such a social thing.
It's weird because when I play multiplayer games with you, it feels like single player. Like, Joe, where'd you go? And you're like, I had to use my ultimate.
Oh, that was a stab in the heart from the backside.
Yeah, Joe, you ready to pair this? I'm gonna use my ult. Or you got your Pharah ult still? No, I had to use it on a tracer. She got in my face, man. I was freaking.
I want to use it on one tracer. I'm not that ridiculous.
I've had you do it. I
don't believe you, unless there's video or it didn't happen.
I gotta dang it. I have 220 hours of this game logged, and I can't find a video where I can here you go.
FYI, I've probably patched you up on Overwatch. Yeah.
Oh, undoubtedly, yeah. I crave more games than just that.
I know, I understand. I'm trying to think of last time. Oh, never mind.
Oh, okay.
When's the last time we played Overwatch together, Jimmy?
Right
after it was Justice League, right?
Was it? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at. Yep, I was doing some.
That was a fun night. I don't think any other game gets me to go, like just hysterically squeal like a schoolgirl and get all giddy when something good happens. If I'm pissed, I'm pissed. But
you're referring to Kingdom Hearts, right? Kingdom Hearts 3 gets you really giddy.
Kingdom Hearts 3. Sorry, I got off topic. I don't even know how we ended up there. Oh yeah, when you play online games, you feel like you're alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Confessions. Revelations. This episode's titled Revelations. No, that'd be like a really deep title. People would be like, Revelations? What the heck? They talking about Assassin's Creed?
The Bible verse?
Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm going to be playing it. But like I said, there's such a good chance it's going to get pushed back just because we've seen some stuff from it, but unless they give us a date, then I take that date and I add like 3 or 4 months to it still. I'm like, like Final Fantasy 15, like September 30th, we'll have an event, September 30th. And they're like, November.
Yeah, that's like me telling Jimmy, yeah, let's podcast at 7.
I didn't do this for Jimmy. That's good.
Like Jimmy, 7 o'clock. He'll be like, okay, text me 5 minutes beforehand. And I text him 5 minutes beforehand, and 20 minutes later I call.
That's like 35 minutes or 45. I'm like, I look at the clock. I'm like, all right. Because I'm like sitting here like this. I'm like, listen to some music. I'm like, he said 5 minutes. I'm sure I'm like in an abusive relationship. I'd be like, he's going to come back for sure. Or she's going to come back for sure. Equality. But no, that's
my
okay.
Timeliness is horrible.
We're working on it. One of these days, man. One of these days, the boss is going to come down on you. I'm not going to. I don't know. It's okay. You're a busy guy. Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm not stopping. Kingdom Hearts 3. I want to play it. I'm excited about it. Even though all these games I'm excited about. Honestly, like all the ones you brought up too, Joe. Monster Hunter, Anthem, Red Dead, they're so good. The one that we left off that we kind of talked about beforehand. It might not be the most anticipated for us both, but Far Cry 5 could be a lot of fun to play together. But just all these games, and hopefully they just land at perfect intervals in between one another, so they don't all come out on the same flipping day or something. And we have to be like, what are we gonna play? Like, thankfully, Monster Hunter's coming out in a few weeks, and we can kind of hopefully play that for a good stretch of time.
I hope that wets the palate for a while.
Yeah, until Red Dead, hopefully, because if Red Dead comes out like April or May, and hopefully they kind of support Monster Hunter going forward, I'm really hopeful that we can just be like, hey, tonight, and they're going to have different weekly hunts and stuff, so maybe special monsters or special kind of like variations on things, so maybe we'll have us coming back for that.
I'm down for that, yo.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't do anything like Destiny, where it's like, hey, here's a raid, and it's completely different than anything you've ever done in the regular game, and good luck with that, and it hurt, man. That hurt. That just smacked me in the face. I was so excited for that raid too, man. I was like, this is so cool looking. And then when we got in there, I was like, we're fighting endless amounts of enemies if we don't do this properly. I was like, yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your life now. All right, Joe. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on from our top games of the year. Please let us know your favorite games or the ones you're the most excited about, the most anticipated down in the comments below. I know we had some people tweeted us about it, but if you're watching this, dear viewer, please, I always check those comments. I'm always replying to them. I love the comments. I do. Anyway, I want to take a moment here to salute our commander, Jonathan Larson, our $100 patron over on patreon.com. Jonathan, we salute you.
That we do. Good man, Jonathan.
And as Jonathan likes to say, their fate concerns me. Yours does not. Speaking of Darksiders, there's a Darksiders 2 quote, and I love it so much. Oh, man. I just love death in that game. Again, you got to really be careful when you're talking about the characterization of death, the Nephilim. I mean, not like... He does turn into a Reaper, which is just so cool. I love that game. Yeah, I know they remastered it recently, but they didn't put it to 60 frames per second. These are my problems. Anyway, Joe, it's time to get to that segment of the show that I like to call, that you like to call, that we like to call...
What do we call it, Jimmy?
Time Killers. That's right. It's time for Time Killers, because somebody just decided not to do it.
Impromptu. Jimmy, it's your turn.
It's like we're playing tennis, and I'm like serving it over to you, and you just like smack it back in my face. I'm like,
yeah, tabletop tennis and ping pong comes at me, and I'm just like, psych, you get it, and I smack it back so hard he barely catches it by the tip of the paddle. And...
I catch it in my hand and I crush it like this. Game's over. Anyway, it's the games we've been playing, the movies we've been watching, the TV shows we've been doing, the cookbooks we've been reading. Joe, what you been reading, viewing, playing?
Jimmy, every week, it's funny. It ebbs and flows, Every once in a while, I got something good to be like, yeah, I was so into this, yada, yada. I watched this, that, and the other thing. This week, I tell you what, I feel like I've got nothing.
Oh, you've got something. I know you've got something.
I know I have something too, but is it bad that I don't recall?
Yes.
What did we watch that I have not seen yet?
This just goes to show that my rating for this film was far better than yours. Because if you can't recall it, a few days after you saw it, didn't really.
Has it only been a few days?
Yeah, man. We watched it on like
Saturday.
I think it was Saturday.
Yeah. What the heck was it?
Or Friday. What's that? Do you want me to tell you what it was?
Oh, what was it?
Let's do it like this.
Hold on. Yeah. I know what it was. American Assassin. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that was rough.
All right.
Not that it meant nothing to me, Jimmy. I know Joe, we had a good time.
Tell me the plot of it's not around like a date or something. It's not that it didn't mean anything to me. I just didn't remember what it was. What do you mean it's our anniversary? I mean, like it's a big deal to me, but
it's not like it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm just busy.
It's not like I made the movie. It's a lot worse when I'm
last month.
It's like when I ask you to watch a review and you're like, I don't remember the score. You can't the big red letters and numbers and
okay.
White.
Just think about how hard you're laughing right now.
Yeah, I am. There's actual audible laugh because when I'm laughing for real, it's usually like there's noise, but a lot of times it's more just like
that sounded like an owl getting shot.
No, and getting shot. I was gonna say no. I do a great owl impersonation. Anybody who watched my Ocarina of Time on Twitch knows that because I go woohoo. Like you gotta go. Woohoo! Hello, Joe. Hello.
Owls do not actually.
Woohoo! I'm definitely not peeking this mic at all.
I don't think you are. It's not too bad. I hear owls screech too. Give us a screech, Jimmy.
That's more of like a timid owl. Yeah, that's my owl does not screech. I got him. I did it.
You got me. Oh, that was My cheeks hurt. That was pretty funny right there. I tell you what. So
Reminds me of Julie Andrews in The Princess Diaries. She's like, a princess or queen never slides or whatever across like a seat. And I'm just like, my owl never screeches. Just does nice and I feel like I should fact check that.
That's a timid owl right there.
Yeah, it is.
That was. Oh man! All right, maybe not as funny as I thought it was, but whatever.
If you want to hire me to do an owl voiceover for anybody who's watching this, maybe professionally, I would love to do it because that's just the timid owl. I haven't even shown you the wide and vast array of owl emotions.
You can do a barn owl. You can do a great horned owl.
No, it's the same owl, Joe. It's just different emotions, like angry owl or like sad owl.
Ooh. What are we doing right now?
We changed this.
Speaking of owl, Haley has a really awesome picture of an owl that landed in a tree in our backyard. Oh. It wasn't a great horned owl. It was some other type of owl. I want to look it up. I've been meaning to do it. In fact, I got to get that photo, but it was awesome.
Oh, cool.
She got out her nice Canon and big
old
DSLR lens on there, DSLR Mark III. She zoomed in on it, and yeah, it was beautiful. It was really cool. So anyway, moving on from owl conversation, I forget how that came up.
Tell us how much you loved American Assassin.
American Assassin. I don't want to say I loved it. It was a little formulaic, but it was pretty good. I feel like the motives for him to be all crazy, I want to kill terrorists thing, it was there, but it's like there was no end goal. There was no like chopping the head off the snake. I mean, there was, but there wasn't. There was no, you didn't get that satisfaction of him getting what he wanted, even though, killing the person that killed your loved one is never really it's not going to make you feel better in the end, but
sure.
I think it made me feel better in the moment.
Well, yeah, the weird thing about this film is it kind of sets it up as his story, for anyone.
It turns out not to be. Like, it's a much broader picture here. He's just a piece in the puzzle.
Yeah, which is sad because the way that beginning sequence goes is like pretty horrifying and scary, and it's sad because he's got like this very pretty girlfriend who becomes his fiance, and then ends up dying. And I would say these are spoilers, but it's like the plot of the film.
Yeah, if you don't know it, then what are we here for?
I just wish there was more of an emphasis on his relationship with Michael Keaton, because Michael Keaton's character seemed kind of like, it's like, I just don't get attached to anybody, and like the emotions will ruin you as an assassin. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, but I would rather like focus on that more so. It's more like he was in the field with Michael Keaton's character, and then there was like a bunch of really cheesy dialogue that seemed very out of place, and it became more of like a PG-13 action movie at the end, as opposed to like an R-rated like assassin movie. It's like, we gotta save this stuff, we gotta save all these people, and it was like, what?
It could have been a little more over the top, or a little more, I don't know if I want to use the word calculated, but a little more risque and, just fast-paced intensity. I feel like here it got a little monotonous through the middle of it and towards the end. And you kind of knew where it was going and everything. You just felt like, but man, his fiance died and he doesn't even get there's no like satisfaction there. It's just kind of like depression. But then, you kind of hit the nail on the head. That may have been a major point in the plot or the start of the story, but it's not really what it's about. It totally takes a shift. It's just a way for you to get to that point. And the focus totally shifts from that. So
it resolves itself really quickly. And as far as like that plot line goes, because you'd think going into this, that, and maybe that's a good thing that it kind of subverts our expectation, but that this person that he's trying to find and kill, the person he saw shoot his fiance, dies pretty early on. These are spoilers for a movie that probably no one's gonna see, but it's just kind of like, hey, it's done, and it's just like, oh, okay, I guess that's there. So what's he got to learn now? And it was like he wasn't trained by anyone; he trained himself. So it's like now you got to go to this specialist who's going to train you to be like an assassin. And it's like the end of the movie sets up even cooler stuff, but like the rest of the movie, he doesn't really do that. So
Yeah.
Joe, give us a
Slightly
score.
anticlimactic. If I gave it a score, I'd give it a. It was entertaining. I did enjoy it. I liked the characters in it. The casting was pretty good. Michael Keaton, stellar. I think I'll be lenient and I'll give it a strong 6.5.
Dang.
And I think it was pretty good. I'll give it a 6.5. I never really generally rate anything below a 5 unless it's something like Zombievers from Netflix.
I think
so go to Netflix and give that a little watch. I would give that about a 1, maybe 1.5 because it makes me laugh.
I think that we shouldn't be afraid to say anything is like in between the 1 to 5 range because so many people are like, if it's 5 or lower, it's like a failure, which I get, but there are some failures which are much more catastrophic than others. Now, this film, honestly, Joe, I was thinking like the same score because at first you were like an 8 or an 8.5, but I remember thinking like I'm like a 6.5 for this one. I was like,
we finished watching it at like what 8? It was like 12:30 in the morning, 1 in the morning. So by that time, I was so loopy I couldn't score crap.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's fine. I guess check it out if you want to. All I was thinking was between that and Spider-Man Homecoming, and I was watching, I was like, man, I really want to watch Michael Keaton as Vulture.
I didn't even think of it. I did not even think of it, but we were like contemplating, should we watch Homecoming again?
I want to watch it again.
Oh, but I've never seen American Assassin. It sounded pretty cool. I saw the previews in the theaters. Well, we'll give it a shot. Oh, yeah, Michael Keaton's in this too.
We have not been doing well on your picks for rentals. Like, I should keep tally because we did that. Hardcore Henry was fine. It was okay.
That was enjoyable. That was kind of neat.
You rented Krampus, and I watched it along with you.
That was actually okay. It's mediocre, but I had fun. I genuinely had fun watching it. It's not something that I could take seriously by any means.
I'm glad you had fun watching it. I didn't.
You didn't have fun at all?
No, the coolest.
Coming to get you.
The third act is so weird, man. It like takes
the end, the conclusion when he's like, "Give me my family back," and he jumps in a pit of fiery hell or something. Yeah, that was way too.
That's not even the end of it. It's like we're not even spoiling the weirdest. Like that movie like ends, but it doesn't end, but it keeps going. It's like whatever.
Yeah. I think they're trapped in a snow globe in the end. Spoiler.
Okay, you can't say it after the spoiler.
I'm horrible. No one's gonna care. It's freaking Krampus, man.
This is Luke Skywalker's father. Oh, spoiler warning. That's like giving somebody who's like allergic.
Luke Skywalker dies. Spoiler.
Allergic to peanuts, and you like give them some food and they eat it. Like, oh, peanut allergy warning, and they're like, because for some people, a spoiler it hurts them physically. Like they're like. Side note, the quote is, Mia, would you like to slide in first? Clarice, I never slide. That is from Princess Diaries. I just wanted everyone to know that because I want to be on the ball.
Mia is my mother's name. I thought you were making some mean joke for a second.
I didn't remember or know that, and I would never, ever joke about your family in such a way. That seems like a horrible thing to do. Moms, you don't want to joke about them. It's a good way
to saints, man. They're saints.
They put up with us. I don't know how they do it. Anyway, yeah. Timekillers, baby. Okay, so we watched American Assassin. We should watch Spider-Man Homecoming. And one way or the other, I am going to work, even if it's without Joe, I'm doing a Civil War commentary, either before Black Panther or before Avengers Infinity War. One of the two. I feel like Black Panther because it's coming up, and I want to watch it again because I just love T'Challa so much, and I'm excited that he gets his own movie. I really want to see that character in action, kind of being the king, because like he has that presence in Civil War. But, now we get to see him, like, actually being that. Plus, it's the return of Bilbo and Gollum. Like, it's gonna be great. I'm so excited. Like, those two actors, like, they meet up on set and they're like, hey, it's been a while, It sounds like we're working together again. Cool. I didn't plan this. Like, I didn't either.
Yeah, that's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I just love that Andy Serkis is making the rounds at Disney. He's like, I'm gonna do some Snoke. I'm gonna do some Claw or whatever. It's like he's just kind of. We'll see him in a Disney. Well, the weird thing is he's doing a Jungle Book movie that's not Disney. So it's like I don't know if they brought him on. They're like, hey Andy, we talked to you about Jungle Book for a second. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, let's talk about it. Just like a second. Like we just did a Jungle Book. Maybe you shouldn't do a Jungle Book. Like I would absolutely love it. Oh, maybe you should rethink your decision there, Andy. Be like, sorry, Mick. Joe loves the Mickey Mouse impression, don't you, Joe?
I love it. I think it's great. Great.
Timekillers. Okay, so I did American Assassin. I've been rewatching Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, which if you don't watch anime, sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook. It is so good. Everyone can watch it for free. All you have to do is download the Funimation app. They have not paid me to do this. Download the Funimation app. The English dub is still really good, and it's a little bit older, but it looks fantastic. Sounds great. You can watch it with ads, which I've been doing. It's really a joy. It's one of my favorite anime of all time. I really love the character of Lelouch. He's a young guy, but he inherits this power of Geass, which allows him to give one specific command to every person he sees. So it's like if he sees someone that he wants to have die, he'll be like, die, and they'll be like, yes, your highness, and they'll shoot themselves or whatever. It's like really cool. And some of them can be kind of latent. Like he can be like, when this happens, do this. And they don't remember being commanded to do so. So it's like a really cool, like, cat and mouse game, like a chess game eventually, because he's kind of helping the Japanese get out from under the rule of the Britannian Empire, which he is a part of. So he doesn't like how the Britannian Empire has kind of come in and taken over, and he's finding a way to finally change the world. And it's pretty cool. It's very good. I highly recommend it. I've also been watching this new anime on Amazon called Darker Than Black. I've only watched 2 episodes of it. About these assassins, these contractors who have like special superpowers, and they like, I've only watched like 2 episodes, so I don't really know like the rest of it yet, but it's kind of it's modern, but it seems like there's kind of magical elements to it, so we'll see how it goes. It looks good too, which I love, because like in an anime, I want it to look good. I want it to look really good, because I'm spending a lot of time looking at it. Like, it should look good. Finally, yeah, games, a little bit Here's the Storm, a little bit of Zelda. I just beat Zelda Breath of the Wild, just the main campaign of it. Very good. Really love that game. Super fun. There's so much in that game I know I have not experienced yet from what other people have told me, and I'm like, that's in there? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, I haven't found that. Like, there's like this huge thing. It's like, I haven't seen it. So that just goes to show how much that like of that game there is left that I have not seen at all. And I went through and I played the Trials of the Master Sword. So I got the Master Sword. I made it like double in strength and never gonna break, which is great to have a weapon that doesn't break, as opposed to like your favorite weapon. You're like, it broke. Like my Ice Blade. No, my Frost Blade. But yeah. Besides that, that's pretty much everything. Yeah, for Timekillers. Now, Joe, it's time to move into my favorite segment of the show: community feedback and questions.
I thought you were going to say something that I like to call you that you like to call, and I was going to take that one this time. Whatever.
What do you want?
No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just
okay,
kidding.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. So I asked everybody like what their most anticipated game was for the year coming up here, and we got some pretty fun responses. Thank you guys for writing in all the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ryan Lehman said Bayonetta 3, to which Fragadin, Sean, said, I second this. Missile Maid said Dreams. Good pick right there. Dreams. And my friend Corey Lang, the guy I do the show Game Sharks with, he said, whatever From Software is working on, Red Dead at a close second.
My man.
Yeah, it's good. Beating Down Brian says Resident Evil 2 remake, ... I hope. And then Rick Hogue, our friend from Hogue Law, he says Star Control Origins, which I looked into that game. It's a cool little game. It's like I don't really know if it's like mining or exploration, but you kind of look at like a big map of planets and you can go like explore them with like a little ship. There's probably way more to it than that. I apologize if that's oversimplifying it, but that's from what I've seen. That's what it looked like. Anyway, our questions for this week from our dear friend Anna, or Lil Red Writer, over on Twitter. She asks us, Echo Critical, #Critical Podcast, deep space or deep ocean? Which would you rather explore? I feel like we've been asked if we'd rather live in one before. Which would you rather explore, Joe? Deep space or deep ocean?
Oh. Deep space sounds safer than deep ocean. Like,
weirdly.
Well, we've made it to the bottom of like the Marianas Trench, right?
I don't know. I thought there was
I
like
think we've been close to it with like a sub. It was a submarine capable of going down. I don't know. You know what? I'll tell you what. Neither interest me.
what? No, Joe, you got to pick one.
Like if I had the opportunity to go to space, nah.
Their point that you're getting there, you're standing in a room, a white room, and it's got two like little subs, and they're like, this one says space, this one says ocean, and outside the window is your family, and they're all being held hostage. And they're like, Joe, you got to pick one. You got to pick one.
I'd be like, whatever, kill them all.
I didn't sit there.
Yeah. So you can't twist my arm into this one now, can you? Yeah.
All right. Here, how about I do this? There's a xenomorph and a motocross bike in the room that you're looking at the glass panel, and you're like, okay, what? Okay. That's whatever. Okay. And then somebody walks in, and these tubes go down around each of them. And they're about to press a button, and they say, Joe, if you don't pick one of these, I'm going to erase all of your memories of both of these things.
Both of these things?
He's like, I'll let my family die, but I can't lose the xenomorph, fictional creature, and motocross bike, just a tool for driving around and doing cool stuff. Just like, I can't.
Okay, clearly I was joking about the kill my family part.
You jumped to it pretty quick.
I have absolutely no desire to do either. If I had to choose, I guess I would say the ocean because I trust getting back to the surface more. Like,
we'll say you can get back to both. Safely.
Space would be boring. Like, it'd be beautiful for a minute, but then once you get way the heck out there, you're just like, wow, everything's black. Hey, a star. Way, way out there. I don't know. I mean, part of me... Yeah, plus I'd probably get sick.
Well, you'd be like in a big aquarium, kind of in a way, when you're thinking of like as you're doing like the submarine in the ocean.
Let's do the ocean. Let's do the deep ocean.
It's like you're picking like a lunch order. They're like, all right, Joe, so it's gonna be either tuna or chicken, and you're like, I guess we'll do the tuna today. Like,
no, it's like we can do the anchovies or the pickled herring, and I'm like, oh God. So I guess we'll do the anchovies because let's face it, they're just a hair better than the pickled herring.
You know what I love most? Maybe one of the things I love most about this show, Joe, is that we get a very simple question like this where we could each say one word and be done with it. However, here we are expounding on it and talking about families being held hostage, memories being taken away.
Yeah, I mean, you set it up nicely in two different times. When you brought up the motocross bikes, that was tough.
It takes over Xenomorph? Wow, Joe.
Yeah, it does.
What if it's a Xenomorph riding motocross? You're
like, oh my God. You're a monster.
Well, Ripley had all those cool skills when she was like Xenomorph Blood, in that fourth one or whatever, like Resurrection or whatever it was. So like maybe the Xenomorph would be like a really good motocross.
It's weird to think that those were after the events of Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the ship technology, like he's putting those embryos or whatever in a cryo chamber, it seemed more technologically advanced than any of the newer ones.
That's kind of how Star Wars was with the prequels. It was like, why is everything so future-y? And then they like look at the old stuff, like, why is it all so dirty? And they're like, it's the past. It's just cleaner. All right, don't worry about it. Which news-wise, I know we didn't talk a lot about news this week, but Ridley Scott in talks to direct not one, but potentially 2 Merlin films for Disney. One kind of focused on the Sword in the Stone, and another one about like Merlin, maybe like his origin story. It could be good. Take that cinematographer. Whoever was doing the
How many times have they done a King Arthur bullcrap thing?
Yeah, I know, and it might not be that great, but if they just bring the cinematographer from Prometheus or whoever did Covenant, like whoever's doing that, at least the movie will look good. I'll be like, all right.
Sure.
And it'll be better than freaking Michael Bay's
Throw a Xenomorph in there, pulling the sword from the stone, and we've got a movie.
A drunk Stanley Tucci, Transformers 5, The Last Night. You've got to be kidding me. And he talked like a modern day person. That doesn't make any sense. It makes me so frustrated. Sorry. You want to talk about a 4.5? That might be a 3 now. I don't know. I don't want to talk. Anyway, for me, I feel like Deep Space is kind of cool because there's like infinite possibilities. Because Ocean could be like, I'm waiting for that squid, man. I'm always waiting for that super squid.
I'm just waiting for it to be over.
You can't. You're gonna be safe, Joe. I wasn't drinking anything right there because I'm like, I'm waiting for it to be over. Okay, great question, Anna. Thank you for reading it.
Eyes shut, just like, are we going back up?
No, you're not.
Corey, Jimmy's in space, and I'm so worried. I gotta call him.
Yeah, Joe, we're the only people. We're on each other's like screens. We're like right next to each other. We're like, dude, you're right. There's nothing out here. And you're like, dude, you're right. It's terrifying down here.
We gotta do this now. This would be great. Super great.
What memories did they threaten for me? I don't know. Probably something emotional, something that would actually affect me.
Any video game you've ever played.
I could let some of those go.
Behind.
Oh yeah, there's some that I'd be happy to lose. I'd be like, loose.
Yeah, Darksiders gone. All of it. God.
All the memories. Make me forget.
Like a dim light.
I'm trying to think of what game I'd be like, that's fine. I'm looking up here. If I lost the Division in my memory, I'd be like, okay.
Wow.
Wow.
That is fine. Yeah.
Ubisoft had a really good year, though, man. I can't knock them for it. They had a great year. Good job, Ubisoft. Keep killing it. Assassin's Creed Origins, by the way, please everybody check it out. If it's for half off, it's for like $30, $20. It's totally worth it. Totally worth $60, but $65. Just please check it out. Anyway, speaking of open world games, Corey asks us, Corey Lang, will Red Dead get delayed again? # Critical Podcast. I feel like there's a good possibility. Like comes out in the summer, maybe. Joe, what do you think?
Will it get delayed again? I think there's a good chance. There's so much that has to go into that game.
Yeah, and they need to take their time with it because it's going to sell.
I think, they know it's going to sell like hotcakes regardless of what they do. I think the main thing is that they want to get it right. I think that they would rather push it back 2 months to get it right than release it and everybody have issues and then it doesn't sell like hotcakes because they're like, why waste my money on that when I've got Grand Theft Auto 5?
That's the uphill battle that they're fighting, is that they're fighting themselves and that there's so much content in Grand Theft Auto 5 from the base game alone. That's before the online even came out, which was like months or like a year after the game came out. Now it's like with this one, everyone's going to assume, it better come out with a campaign and online functionality that has a ton of stuff to do. Because if people get there and like, this is the online, like, okay, I robbed like 2 banks and that was it. People will be like, what?
It better come out with all that.
I think if it was the other way around and Red Dead was like the big thing right now, and like they're like, and Grand Theft Auto like 6 or whatever it is coming up, people would be like, oh my god, what are they gonna do with this game? Like there's so much in Red Dead Redemption 2 and now Grand Theft Auto 6, you know. So yeah, I think there's a chance it could get pushed back. I don't know. Rockstar is kind of like they'll put a game out when they're ready, and they don't need to rush because their game is always like consistently years after like still one of the best sellers. It's like, Grand Theft Auto is still in like the top 20. It's like
Yeah, it's unreal.
Just guys, please, Rockstar, I know you're listening. Just make your shooting better. It just needs to be better. You can do this. Talk to any third-person shooter. Talk to the Gears of War, the Coalition people. They know what they're doing. All right, those people. That's all they do is third-person shooting. They don't have like, how's my apartment looking? It's like, no. They just shoot guns constantly. Please. Even it's better in Monster Hunter. Anyway, sorry about that. So yes. I think there's a good chance that happens. I would say no if we had a date in mind because Rockstar would probably want to stick to it. But because they said spring 2018, I could see it getting pushed back into the summer. If it hits in the doldrums, better for them. You know, if it like drops in August or something crazy, you know, might be a good time. Even though I want it to come out in May, I want it to be there. We'll see. Ryan asks us, what bad game would you wish I'm sorry that again. I'm so sorry. What bad game would you wish that the developer would take back and take more time to make the game better? Example, Mass Effect Andromeda. # Critical Podcast. 2 that came to mind to me. Evolve was one right away. I talked to Joe about this before the show. I think the way they could have done it better is they could have, released the game and said, hey guys, it's $65, with tax. At least here in the States, and every monster, every character is going to be free. You don't have to buy them separately. It's like, because I remember it being weird, and then they reduced the prices, or they started giving them away, and it was like, it just gets strange that way. And I could see why they did that to kind of have the longevity. They might not have necessarily the same budget as like a Blizzard would have to support a game like that, But at the same time, like the fact that the DLC was such a prominent feature and scared a lot of people off, I think it kind of hamstrung them from the beginning. And another one I could think, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I know they're doing like a big retooling process to it, now, and this summer they're hoping to kind of bring it back in a big way. But the look of that game and kind of the lessened roster, I feel like with fighting games nowadays, you really have to come with like a really significant roster, or you need to have like a really fleshed out single player. And I'm looking at something like Injustice 2, which its roster wasn't the biggest, but it's because it had so much depth and so much stuff in there. You didn't feel like, man, I don't really have enough here. It's like there was so much. So yeah, I'd say Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite could probably have taken a little bit more time in the cooker, but it's one of those things they probably push out. Like, DC's got a game this year, we got to bring out the Marvel game. So that's what I'm thinking of. Joe, you got any in mind there, pal?
Man, Evolve was a good one. Bravo. I still miss that game a little bit. I still had a lot of fun in that game, but eventually it got to be, they released a new monster, and what was it? It was like that poison bug one.
The Gorgon, I think, is what its name was.
Oh my god, cool names, cool designs on all their monsters.
Behemoth was so cool. I remember thinking like, this is a game changer. Oh man, that thing.
We just could not figure out that new Gorgon.
Yeah, it was weird.
It seemed to be a little unbalanced at a certain point. I think we just lost interest. But man, I'm trying to think of one that really stands out to me. Developer recalls and makes better. I'm trying to think of something I played first off, but yeah, well, The Division was a big letdown. Most forgettable or worst game of 2016, if I recall, on our Critty list.
I remember talking about that one, and like you'd mentioned it, and I was like, was that 2016? Was it? Maybe? I don't even know, man. You're probably right.
I'm young, but yeah, dude.
Last year, it fits, for Division.
Well,
like
last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably a good pick too. Like Division, it's not that it was like so bad, it just was kind of like it felt so lifeless.
Something. Yeah. Eventually you kind of just felt like, okay, am I gonna grind it out in the dark zone? I mean, it was still kind of cool. I didn't hate it. I feel like it was just unbalanced in that I would end up finding myself against online players that went rogue, they outranked me by so much there was nothing fun to do with it, Like what I really wanted to do was take them down. Like, sucks to be you.
The multiplayer was weird in that game. I like the idea, but it was just the execution. But you're right. March 8th, 2016. Holy crap.
Is there?
Yeah, kind of a letdown. I think Ghost Recon's was just like it didn't do the RPG stuff as much, in any way, but it just was such more of a game that was inviting to a group and kind of said like, hey, come on, you can hop in and do this in any way. Division felt a little more like limiting, and they have that whole like build up your base and get more like stuff to get these new skills and things. It's just like, I don't know why they keep doing this with the Ubisoft games. It's like, why do I have to get like all this like all these medicine points to get like a drone or something, or in addition to the drone? I'm like, what? How does that make sense? So yeah, I think Division's that's a good pick. And I'm hoping that, you talk about Evolve, Joe, maybe Monster Hunter scratch that itch a little bit. Maybe if they made it like dark mode, you played at night. Because Evolve it always seemed like it was at night. Some of them were in the daytime, but a lot of it was just like, this is creepy. Like, I don't know where this thing is.
To be honest, I mean, I should have mentioned that earlier, but I'm really hoping that's what it is that Evolve, it scratches that, or let's say this, fills that void that Evolve left.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. But yeah, that's a good question. There's plenty of ones that could kind of fulfill that need. That might be my question to everybody who's watching this right now. I'd love to know what game have you played where you're like, man, I wish they just take it back, let it cook a little bit longer, and then come back out with it. Just because a rushed game is forever flawed in the mind of the populace. That's why things like Final Fantasy 15, for instance, got pushed back a few months because they're just like, it's been building up for so long, and now that game is like got all this DLC and all this stuff, and it's more of like a complete package if you wanted to get it. But now it's like, you rushed it out. It's like, okay, to meet a release date, and that's not the developer's fault. Usually, it depends on. It's always different, So yeah, that's why games like, I'm so excited. That's why Assassin's Creed Origins sold like 100% better than Syndicate. It sold like double, which is great. because they took a year off. People were hungry for Assassin's Creed, and like that's a good sign. It's like, guys, you can take a year, take a beat, take that year, take 2 years, make a better game instead of being like, we got to get this out for the next year. It's like, no, just scale back and then in a weird way scale up, just pull back and be like, oh yeah. Plus after Breath of the Wild and the love it's getting for that being a single player game, and how popular that is, and Horizon also being a single player game, and they're like, single player is dead. It's like, no, it's not. It's making a lot of money, getting a lot of critical reception. So yeah, keep that in mind. Anyway, that's going to do it for the show today. I hope you guys enjoyed our ramblings and musings on our games of 2018. We're really excited about it. I think it's going to be another good year, like a really strong year, because this last year felt like almost overwhelming. And I think 2018 is going to be kind of similar to that, maybe not as much, but
all that and more, baby.
I'm hoping. And I'm hoping movie-wise, man, because, oh boy, I feel like maybe next week we'll talk movies. All I got to say is Avengers, baby. Oh my gosh. I almost said that was going to be my most anticipated game of the year because I'm so anticipating that film. I feel like, Jimmy, low expectations. I'm like, that trailer, I can't even just like, every time I see it before a movie, I'm like, strap in. Blood's coming out of my eyes. I'm like,
I get it.
Yeah, man, 10-year build-up. Like, not too, like in games, we've had that a few times. Like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy is the same way. Like, just like the build-up of like 10 years to this thing. But at least with these movies, we've been getting stuff, It's not like, well, maybe make, Captain America 3. It's like, no, we did. It's called Civil War, and it's pretty great. It's like, yeah, it is great. Anyway, thank you so much for asking questions. If you ever have a question for the show, all you have to do is tweet the hashtag Critical Podcast to either of us at any time. You can tweet at our official account, which is at GoCritical. It's capital G and a capital C. Or you can tweet at me personally. I'm at JimmyGood013. If you've got a question for Joe, you can tweet at
questions for me at Lever_627. That's Lever just like Beaver, only with an L.
Yes, that is correct. Very good. And as I talked about earlier, we are streaming here on twitch.tv/critical reviews, Mondays and Thursdays, but some weeknights as well. Hopefully Levi's going to hop on there soon too. So stop on by sometime. And we're always tweeting it out, so you never have to miss one if you're around. And there's always archives too. I put some of them on YouTube as well. I don't want to like flood that with Let's Play videos, but at the same time, if some people want that, like our Cuphead playthrough that I'm doing, which I had a 3-hour bout. I didn't even talk about Cuphead. I love that game so much that I fought the same boss for 3 hours. Like,
I'm killing.
Yeah, man. I fought. It was great. But anyway, that's all on our channel here too. I want to thank a few people. I want to thank This Is Dalo for our outro music. And I want to thank the one and only Joran Evers, the greatest artist, in my opinion. He's so great that I have all of his art on my desktop. Got one here. It's always popping up. I got some art that's framed by him. It's out of the shot, but it's there. I promise you this. It's on my phone. Like, I love it so much. If you ever want a commission of anything, really, seriously, it's very good. Very fair price. Check him out at Niraj28 or at Jade Circle Art over on Twitter. But if you want to support him and us at the same time, we encourage you to do it. Go check out patreon.com/critical reviews to see how you can support us today. Get a cool custom avatar. If you want to be like Jonathan, you want to really rep us, $100. It's a pretty big commitment. But you do get amazing avatar, and we do talk about you every week. So
that's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. I was trying to say it's pretty sweet. And eventually, soon, you kind of see me here with this T-shirt. We're gonna get into some more merchandise stuff soon because I know a lot of people asked about that in 2017. We're working on it. Don't worry, it's coming. Joe and I have been discussing it. Joe is much more into the design stuff, so I have to talk to him, talk to Jorn about it. So yeah, it's coming down the line. But thank you, Joe. Huh?
I said all about it.
I know you're all about it. Joe, thank you for waking up and joining us on the show here today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've had a yawn or two tonight.
Oh no, I mean at the beginning of the show you were sleeping, remember? Because I was like, hey, Joe.
Oh yeah. See, I forgot about that. Holy
it's crap. All that partying after the Critty Awards, which, by the way, you should definitely check out. They're
I don't know why you only went to one of them. You just couldn't hang, man. Couldn't hang.
I mean, I talked to Gal Gadot for a little bit, and I was just thinking, like, that's the highlight. Like, what's the point in talking to anybody else here tonight? I was just like, I had a few words with her.
You went to all of them. You missed out.
She told me she was going to all of them, but she was going to call me after. So, yeah, nice conversation about the DC universe and where it's going. And she said maybe they should be calling it the Wonder Woman universe. And I was like, I like the woo-woo. Like, woohoo! Sorry, I do the one more owl. I gotta do it. I love that owl voice. It's so good. They do have a giant owl in Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it was nice to see one. An old fat owl guy. So great. I love the owl impersonation. Anyway, thank you so much, Legionnaires. We appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Please feel free to comment here, tweet at us anytime. Let us know how you're liking the show. And yeah, until next week, just remember to adapt and overcome. See you next time. Bye.